Yeah, hello everyone. We are celebrating today the premiere of our new format LUNEX Talks. And as we want to provide you with some exciting content despite the current corona situation, this will be done for the first few editions online, but as soon as possible, when the situation allows it again, we will also organize these talks on campus. It is currently planned to offer this format once a month, so we're happy to welcome you here on a regular basis in the future. And we're currently streaming, just as an information for those on Twitch and on Clubhouse. We're doing this parallel today on Twitch and on Clubhouse. And I'm very pleased that Deniz Kayadelen will be our first guest today, and that she has agreed to participate in our kickoff session. And she is a very special and interesting guest because she combines various exciting topics that affect all of our study programs, as well sport management and sport science and also physiotherapy. And she is currently working as a management consultant for Ernst & Young and has just published a bestseller and is also a high-performance swimmer. So very, very busy and active on a variety of fields. But enough introductory words from my side. Welcome, Denise. I have already given some information about you, but would you like to add something from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you so much. Hello from Frankfurt. My name is Deniz Kayadelen. So first of all, thank you very much for the invite and organizing this session. It's a pleasure to be part of this first event. So as you had a great summary. So I'm a business psychologist working more than 9 years in consulting and specialized in change management, future of learning, talent management. And as you said, beside my professional life, I'm a competitive, passionate swimmer with many international awards. And more recently, the author of the book Out of Comfort Zone, which I wrote during lockdown in South Africa. And I like to step out of my comfort zone and explore my own limits. For example, last summer I swam from Robben Island to Cape Town with the risk of being attacked by great white sharks in 14 degrees of freezing water. And it took me 2.5 hours to complete this route. So I like those kind of challenges. So when I'm not in the office, when I'm not working, you can find me in the water. And I believe that nothing great comes from comfort zone.
Yeah, very interesting and quite risky what you're doing in your private time. But maybe first of all, let's focus a little bit on your sports career. How did you get into swimming, and when did you start swimming?
Yeah, that's a great question. So nothing great comes from comfort zone, as I said. So when I was 11, I grew up and born in Germany, but my family comes from Turkey. And when I was 11, so my family decided to divorce. And so I lost my family life in Germany. I lost all my friends and moved with my mom to Turkey. And during this time, it was a tough time. And so swimming, I started with swimming, and it gave me really the power, the confidence, and I felt in peace when I was in the water. And at the beginning, it was really hard to go to trainings and adapt myself to my new life in Istanbul. I struggled at the beginning and wasn't sure if I really wanted to continue and commit to the hard trainings and have this kind of disciplined athlete life, because I had trainings at 5 a.m. in the morning, 5 p.m. in the evening. So it was really challenging. So at the end, I continued with swimming, and it gave me really the power to deal also with other challenges. And I felt the positive effect of swimming also in other parts of my life. So swimming became my real passion. Okay, so I think in summary, I can say that I started swimming when I had a real challenge in my life. So moved from Germany to Turkey, completely new culture, completely new environment. And so swimming gave me really the power to deal with all these challenges, and I felt peace in the water. And then swimming became really my passion, my real passion. And I felt the real dedication, no matter how busy I was. So I never stopped swimming, still continue and joining the European Championships, the World Championships, despite my busy consulting life.
Yeah, okay, I can imagine, because in both worlds it's quite challenging and time consuming. And regarding your swimming career, what has been your biggest challenge in swimming so far?
Oh, my biggest challenge. So I'm doing pool. I join pool competitions, but also do open water swimming. And the biggest challenge so far was to cross the North Channel with my relay team. So we swam from Ireland to Scotland, around 42 kilometers, and the water temperature was around 12 degrees. So it's a really freezing water, and it's considered one of the toughest swimming routes in the world. Because it's freezing cold and there are many big toxic jellyfishes, which are really dangerous. And I started with cold water trainings to prepare my body and mind for the English Channel relay swim. Crossing the English Channel was always my dream. And the water in English Channel is around 17 degrees and the North Channel is 5 degrees colder. So it's much more challenging. And I wasn't really prepared to cross the North Channel, but my relay team at this time was there, and they really pushed me to join the swim before I swim even in the English Channel with them. So I felt the group pressure and found myself in the North Channel, so I couldn't say no to them, and wanted just to be a loyal team member. But I didn't have enough time to prepare my mind, my body, and to adapt myself to this environment. And it really was a big challenge for me to prepare myself, to motivate myself. And it took me a lot of energy to prepare me mentally in this short of time. But luckily I had a great support system. So many of team members and also the observer team on the boat were really supportive. So during my swim, they showed me some quotes of my friends, of my family. They sing for us, so they really motivated me. And it gave me, again, the inner power, the inner motivation to continue and to continue for my team. And in total, I was 4 times in the freezing water, so swam each time 1 hour. And even during the swim, I saw some killer whales, and it was really challenging, both mentally and physically, to deal with the cold, to deal with this fear. And at the end, I was really happy to face this challenge in this freezing water with my team.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And regarding the 24 hours, would you say, this is by far your biggest challenge you faced so far in swimming, or was it more like these situations like the cold water situation, or what would you describe as your biggest experience so far?
Yeah, so they had different challenges. So I told you now about the North Channel freezing cold water, but another challenge was the 24-hour swimming race. So it takes place every year in Germany in different pools. And I like, as I said, to challenge myself. And I attend this 24-hour swimming race in Stuttgart a few years ago. And the rules are really simple. The swimmer who is swimming the most laps within the 24 hours is the winner. And when you register to the swim, you receive a counting card, and the observers outside are counting your swim laps. And when you decide to finish your swim, then you submit the card, and it will be then counted as the final result. And till to the end, you don't know who is the winner because there's no digital tracking system. It's still old school. And that makes the swim really exciting. And so the first year when I joined this 24-hour swimming race, I swam in total 33 kilometers. And the distance was really my limit. So I was in the water 3 times and swam each 10 to 12 kilometers. And I felt really my limit and was really happy to swam 32 kilometers. But then in the second year, I just wanted to beat myself, to challenge myself again. And my lucky number is 3. So I said, okay, let's swim 3 kilometers more than the previous year. And I aimed to swim 36 kilometers in total. And so it went well. So I again divided the kilometers in 3 parts and swam each 10, 12 kilometers more. And you can't believe how exhausted, but how happy I was to beat myself and to break my own record again. And it was like a journey where I found myself in a completely different dimension, strengthening and testing my own resilience, my own limit, and get stronger and stronger by each kilometer. And yeah, after all those swims, I also said, okay, so I want to do again 3 kilometers more the year after. The year after, I completed 39 kilometers. So it was a really great progress for me to see that year by year I can swim more and challenge myself more. But then after all those swims, I thought, okay, so where is the limit? So when I need to stop, because I feel really the limit mentally and physically. And I said, when it's really okay to stop. And when you achieve something, you always want more and more. And you can compare yourself to others. And of course, there are always better, richer, more successful, better people. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me? And regarding the learning process of your experiences there for the 24 water swimming or your cold water competitions, what is your reflection on this? Is there anything you can share with us, or something that might also help the students regarding their studies, for example? Can you outline this a little bit?
Yes, of course. So I think the main point is when you feel the limit, when you feel exhausted, then don't forget you have more power in your body. So that's the most important part, that I think the brain is your limit. And even if you feel exhausted, even if you really feel bad with your body, so you can continue. And what I learned from all these challenges is that focus is really important to setting your challenging goals and have a vision. And so I think I was always competing with myself, because I tried always to getting a better version. And that's also exactly what people should do. So I think everybody is doing that, right? So with each training, we try to do our best. So we want to be better and better. And I think that's the important part, to receive feedback, to try to be the best version of yourself with each training, with each challenge. And I think it's important to know that with pain we can grow. With pain we can get stronger and stronger and challenge ourselves and getting a better version of ourselves. And that's my main outcome. And of course, you need to be passionate. So the more you enjoy this process, the more you have the passion, the more you can be successful. And yeah, I think these are the main important parts to willingness to achieve, willingness to improve yourself, and focus on your goal and train for it and do it. Just do it, even you feel pain.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, very nice. Regarding the current lockdown situation, I can imagine that for you as an athlete, this is also a big issue, and will hinder you from training, I guess. How do you deal with this situation? How do you get the best out of this situation?
Yeah, so it's a really great question, because I think I'm not alone. So this COVID situation, this lockdown situation is for everyone a challenge, for each of us. And so for me as an athlete, it's more challenging. I have been swimming more than 20 years, and no matter what happened, despite injuries and so on, I always kept swimming. So I never stopped swimming. And this is the first time in my life that I can't swim. So all the pools are closed, all the gyms are closed, the lakes are around 2 or 3 degrees freezing water, so I'm not able to swim. And last year I was in South Africa during the lockdown, so as well there, all the pools were closed. I had a little bit the chance to swim in Turkey last summer, but that's it. So as an alternative, I started to jogging. So every day I ran for 10 kilometers, but then I enjoyed my food, because my body is not used to it to running. So my body is just used to swim. So then I went to a doctor, because I had really pain on my foot. And yeah, the doctor said, okay, so you need to stop running. You have a really bad situation on your foot, and if you continue, it could be worse. So that was really hard for me, because I needed this endurance training. I needed to feel the exhausting of my body, and it gave me power the more I feel the endurance training. But then I decided to start with meditation. So now every morning I wake up in the early morning at 6 a.m. and starting with the brain heart coherence meditation from Dr. Joe Dispenza. And then I continue with Wim Hof breathing exercise. So this Wim Hof breathing exercise is a really great breathing exercise where you change the pH value of your body. So you energize your body and collect more and more oxygen and save oxygen. And so I do this every morning. And after that, I do home workout, high intense training sessions. And after that, I have a freezing cold shower. So that's also activate my brain, my body, and everything. And then I feel really energized to start with my work. So that's also my motto: do something first good for yourself, and then you are more ready to do something good for others and feel more energized.
Yeah, sure.
And I know this time is temporary, so I hope we will go out again, we can train again, we have the freedom again. And till that, I try to stay optimistic and believe that this time is temporary for all of us. And we need to continue to stay optimistic and do what we enjoy, and grow up and use this pain and transform this pain to a successful or to more creative activities. Like last year during the lockdown, I started to write my book. And it was a really challenging situation. But then I said, okay, it doesn't help me to sit at home and ask, why we are now in lockdown, or why I'm sitting at home alone. And then I started to decide, okay, let's transform this pain to a more creative activity and write this book. So I could realize my dream during this time.
Yeah, cool. So at least, something positive out of this special situation. And in the introduction, you mentioned your stay in South Africa. Can you also tell us a little bit about this? Because, as you mentioned, this has also already been during the pandemic, and can imagine that this was also some kind of a special time for you. And maybe you can describe a little bit your experiences from that time a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So I was in South Africa for 6 months in total with my work, in my consulting work. So I wanted to explore different cultures and serve my services for different people. And in February, I started to work there in South Africa. And end of March, lockdown started. So it was a really challenging moment because I was completely alone there. And my family, my friends, all my colleagues said, okay, so you need to come back. You can't stay there. It's so dangerous. But again, so I said, okay, so I fight so much to go to South Africa, to have this experience. And now why I should be afraid of this challenge and go back? So I decided to stay there and not go back and say, okay, I will do still the most of the situation. Still, I could work remotely and could manage some South African projects. Still, I had different neighbors, different friends who I could meet there. And so now when I look back, I'm really happy to still stay there and use the time to write my book, use the time to be out of comfort zone. But this situation, this out of comfort zone situation, inspired me to explore a different dimension in myself. And now I'm really happy to stay there and face this challenge. And that's also my message so that's also what I learned. So even if people say, oh, don't do this or don't do that, that's difficult, that's dangerous. So if you have really the feeling that you have the potential to do it, or you want to do it, you want to grow with this experience, then just do it. And so far I'm still alive, and not regret all these challenging moments.
Yeah, for sure. And Yeah, as you already mentioned, you have had already various challenges in your sporting career, and I guess also during your professional career. What benefits have you been able to derive in general from both sides for your career? Can you outline this a little bit, or maybe something,
Yeah,
a
sure.
main message for the students which you want to share with us?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. So I think as an athlete, you feel the benefits in every part of your life. Sports, in summary, I learned better time management, learned to be more resilient, learned to be more a team player, collaboration, and much more. So maybe I can start with the first, endurance. So first of all, I think I have the endurance to do things even if I'm getting tired. And the same in sports or corporate life, right? So the real competition or the real game starts when you feel tired. And the strong one wins at the end of the game. So getting tired, doing things is completely normal. Feeling exhausted is completely normal. So we are all human beings. But the question is how you deal with this feeling to be exhausted. How you deal with this feeling to be tired or to be maybe not motivated at this time, and push still your limits despite your inner hurdles or external hurdles. And I learned to overcome these hurdles and push my limits and expand my inner strengths, both physically and mentally. And no matter how tired you are, there's always the hidden power in you to continue even more strongly in the last meters of your challenge. And I think that's also beneficial in the corporate life.
Sure.
So the second one is the resilience. So with sport, I became more resilient because you are not just learning to win, but also you learn to deal with less successful situations because you can't be always number one. So there are also situations where I lost also a race. And but with this kind of experiences, I feel that I have more became a fighter. So fight against my own limits and to try to be better without giving up. And the more I have worked harder and become better, the more I gained the confidence in all different areas of my life. So also in my corporate life, if I feel, okay, that was less successful, then I know when I train or when I do more or differently, then I can win again. And this resilience mindset, I think, is really helpful also for stressful business situations. The third one, I could say teamwork, collaboration. So yes, I'm a swimmer and swimming is a solo sport. It's not a team sport like basketball, football or something, but still, without my ecosystem, without my support system, I couldn't be successful like this because I have the trainer who's supporting me. I have my coach who is providing me all the time feedback when I train. I have my swimming friends, the feeling of belonging to a group. I have my mother, I have my father who's pushing me to my limits if I feel sometimes sad or bad, and they believe on me. So I think that these kind of ecosystem is really important because alone you can't be successful to the fullest. So you need those people around you, and even my competitor is my friend because he or she is motivating me to be better, to be faster. So that's why I think collaboration is really key. And the other part is mind and body control. So with sport, you know better your body, you know better your mind, how to control it. You know the symptoms. You know more what are your inner borders, or when you need to stop, or when you need to regenerate yourself, or when you need to drink water, or when you need the energy gel. So, and it's the same also in the corporate life. So you can feel better when you are stressed and how you can reduce your stress level because you know your body, you know your mind and how you to control it better. And in the past, I was so nervous before important races. I get all the time fever before the championships. And then I started to control my mind because I knew that it was just a psychological reaction to my body to getting fever because I was so nervous. I had fear to lose the competition. But then I started with meditation, I started with more mental control activities, which gave me again the power to control my mind and body and transform my stress level to a better energy level, which made me more faster, more stronger at the end. But yeah, it took time. It was a process of individual transformation. And the same, it's also like in the pitch situations or important business meetings. So now I know, okay, when I'm getting too nervous, I do some breathing exercises, I control myself, I drink my water, I have some rituals, and I know, okay, how quickly can I, again, normalize myself and feel my inner confidence.
And regarding your transformation process, you just mentioned, did you have a special coach who helped you to develop these techniques, or was it something you developed by yourself, or how did you get on that level of body control and
So I studied psychology, and during my psychology time, when I studied psychology, I also focused myself on sports psychology. So I started to do those kind of meditations by myself, but also some YouTube guided meditations. And now I can say I use different sources. For example, for the breathing exercise, I use the Wim Hof method. I have the Wim Hof app, I have some videos of Wim Hof, and it's a really great guided meditation. But of course, I read many books, I read many sources, and yeah, it's like a self-education and getting inspired from different sources and combine different methods. So now I know what is helping me, what is less helping me, and it's about knowing yourself better and knowing yourself better, which are your trigger points, your stress trigger points, which are your motivators, and also who is motivating you. So now I know better who is more motivating me, or with whom should I avoid to speak about different topics. So it's like a process where you know, okay, what's best for you and for your transformation, and who is encouraging you, and what kind of sources are giving you more energy and energizing you.
Okay, yeah, cool, very interesting, very interesting. And I saw on Twitch we received one question from the audience. There's a question from Matthew Wienand. If you could explain a little bit your motivation to create your diaries, what motivated you to start writing your book? Because I think this is something many people have in mind, but maybe due to a lack of intrinsic motivation or whatever, most of the people never do it.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you for the question. When I started with the cold water immersions, I felt so extreme intense feelings that I'm really going out of my comfort zone, because it was not just a mental process, it was a physical process, so it really challenged me. And I started then to write a blog. So I created a website, outofourcomfortzone.com, and shared all my experiences. And many people find those experiences really interesting, and they said, oh, that's great that you are sharing this, you are motivating us. And so I collect different stories in this blog. And when I was in lockdown, so all of us are reflecting what we want to achieve in our life or what we want to do. And writing a book was always my dream, but I wasn't sure about the right moment, because of course, there are always better stories. There are always more challenging stories. But then when I was in lockdown, out of my comfort zone in South Africa, I said, okay, that's, I think, the real best time to write it, to start with it, because I have the time, I have all the stories. I'm now in an extreme situation where the whole world is out of comfort zone. So let's start with this book. That was my trigger point. Yeah.
And I just received another question regarding your time management, because all your activities seem to be quite time consuming, and you're successful in so many different areas, as a bestseller author, as a successful consultant, and also as an extreme athlete. How do you do this? What tips do you have for us regarding time management?
Yeah, time management is a really important topic. So first of all, you need to be disciplined. So and yeah, I plan my time, I plan my week and day, and prioritize, of course. And I know that without discipline, I can't reach all my goals. So I have the priority, of course, to work, but also to do my sport. And when I wrote this book, I decided to write at least 1 or 2 hours every day writing my book. And so, yeah, of course, I stopped a little bit my social life. I stopped a little bit my private time where I maybe would do something else or just sit and watch Netflix. But yeah, so I had a goal again. I focused and prioritized my time. And I don't believe to the word, oh, I don't have time enough or I can't do it because I'm so busy. So of course, everybody is busy. So we have all the time to do. But it's a question of how strong you want to do this and how are your priorities. And so in my prioritization list, of course, work comes first or second, and sport comes again as a second. So first, of course, work. I need to ensure that my work is going on, but then the second priority is always also sport, because then I not feel in balance. When I don't do this 1 hour sport in my day, then I feel that I can't also serve my inner best to others. And that's important to set the goals and to manage your time. And without feeling bad or without feeling egocentric or something, because I think for sport, everybody needs to take time, and just 1 hour is also enough sometimes. And the structured way makes the success. And with my book, it was also like this. So I said, I need to write at least every day 1 hour and promise to myself to do it.
So yeah, like trick playing yourself a little bit in a positive way. Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes you don't have the motivation. Sometimes, yeah, you have your up and downs. But then it's again important to know what is motivating you again, or how you can activate your inner motivation. And yeah, I think the purpose is also important, that you have a sense of purpose why you're doing that, and the inner passion. And yeah, so I think that's the key. And then it flows. It's like a natural energy. So if you don't do it, then you feel bad. So you have the feeling, oh, you need to do it.
Yeah, sure. Push yourself a little bit to the limits in a way. And you mentioned before that collaboration is key in dealing with your emotions, and that it's important for success. How do you support others in a team to develop positive behavior despite challenging times like the pandemic at the moment?
Yeah. So I think resilience is one key strength, competency, which everybody is now improving, and the second, well-being, because the more we feel good and the more we are resilient, the better outcomes we can show. And so currently it's everywhere like this. So everyone is working hard, has the highest level of monotony, sitting at home, working hard all day in front of the laptop and so on. And it's really frustrating. And the work-life balance or the work-life integration is completely different now. So people really have difficulties to set their borders and say, okay, that's now my private zone, that's my private time. And I think now we need to reflect for ourselves, what is our best for you, for us? So you need to reflect for yourself, what are your priorities in life? What makes you happy? What is your passion? And how you can feel better to deal with all these challenges in your life right now. Because, of course, we have external stress factors, we have internal stress factors, like maybe we are missing our friends, our colleagues, or we are afraid of our health or of the health of our family. So we have so many inner and external stress factors, and it takes more energy than ever to deal with all these stress factors. And the most important part is at this time is to not put ourselves into pressure, to really go one step back and say, okay, so what is really my passion? What do I want to achieve in my life? And how can I feel better? because the better you feel, the better you can help others and bring your best, your inner best to the outside world. And that's what I try also to do in the corporate life. So I, beside on my daily consulting work, I coach my colleagues and train my colleagues, or we are doing brainstorming sessions around how we can increase our resilience, how we can protect ourselves from all these stress factors, and find a healthy way to be productive, but also have our regeneration times. Because as in the sports, so if you sprint and sprint and sprint all the time without having breaks, then you can get some injuries, or you can get some situations where you can't go anymore. Yeah, so like in the business, like a burnout situation. And I always say, so we are running a marathon, so we need to have our regeneration times, we need to drink our water, we need to have our nutrition in order to perform on a long-term stage. So we are not sprinting, but sometimes we forget this. So we try to sprint, but not just for one day, not just for 2 days. So it's like go on, continue and continue without stopping. And I think we need to reflect that and say, okay, stop. So it's a long-term run, and we need to have also our regeneration times in order to be the best in a long-term run.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Without recovery, it's impossible to reach these high goals. And do you, for the near future, have any kind of sports goals, or do you plan to write another book, or what is in the near future your biggest objective so far?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. So last year I wanted to swim the Manhattan Island, 360 degrees, so 42 kilometers. I wanted to start my first solo swim. But because of lockdown, I couldn't fly to Manhattan. But this year, I want to do that, hopefully. So I want to swim across all the 20 bridges in Manhattan, in the Hudson River. So that's one of my goals. And the second one is maybe we will swim again, but this will also solo attempt with my swimming coach and friend, the Catalina Channel. So from San Francisco, from Catalina Island to San Francisco. So that would be maybe the second project, but let's see how it will go with the lockdown situation. And the third one is like a surprise project. So I want also swim different routes, unique routes, which nobody tried before, with a relay team, and it will be also in the summer. So let's see, but still it's a surprise.
Yeah, cool. And very ambitious goals, definitely, and very exciting. And regarding what you mentioned before, your rituals in order to control your stress levels, can you outline this a little bit? I guess this could also be very interesting for our students, to learn a little bit more about it. How you do this? Can you explain it a little bit more detailed? How you handle these stress levels in order to reduce them?
Yes, sure. Meditation is really powerful. Before a few years, I didn't believe to meditation so much, but now I feel the power more and more day by day, because now I do it every day strictly. And so one technique is the visualization technique. So I really visualize the time, my competitors, the environment, and from the beginning to the end, I visualize all the swim and visualize also how I feel, how I react, how I do this. And of course, I visualize that I'm successful at the end. And it's so interesting because I also have my Apple Watch and measure my heart rate. And the first visualization is like how I have a high increase of heartbeat, so I'm really nervous. But then I do this visualization exercise 5 or 6 times. And the more I do it, the less I feel anxious, less stressed, and I really focus more on the success of the end result, what I want to achieve. And that helps me really to be less nervous or feel less anxious, because I know in my brain how I will deal it and how I will act. So this is one method what I do, which is really helpful. And also in this visualization exercise, I visualize that I feel exhausted, that I feel pain, but despite the pain, I visualize how I continue. And that gives me really the power in the real life as well, because then my brain already is trained to this mental state, to being exhausted, to being anxious, but still continue. And the second one is the breathing exercise. So you can check the Wim Hof breathing exercise. I'm really a fan of Wim Hof, and it has a really psychological and physiological great explanation. So with this Wim Hof exercise, I feel more energized. I feel more power in my body, because with this breathing exercise, you are saving more oxygen in your body. And it doesn't have just a 1 hour effect. It has an effect, a long-term effect. And when you combine it with the cold shower immersion, then the effect is getting stronger. So that's why every day I do my cold showers and do this breathing exercise. And it has a massive effect on my life. So I started 1.5 years ago, and still I continue, because I feel really the positive effect. I feel more stronger, my body, I feel more energized and less stressed.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Thanks for these detailed insights. I think this is also a technique which could be useful, in any kind of stress in life.
Definitely. So, for example, at the beginning, I couldn't hold my breath more than 1 minute, and now I can hold my breath for 3 minutes without having and then you can do also push-ups without breathing. With the energy level, with the oxygen in your body. So there are different techniques, and when you do this, you can feel really your inner power, your inner fire. And these kind of techniques helped me to explore a little bit more my inner potential and maximize my success.
And you mentioned before your future challenges you're planning. Just from a sport management perspective, do you have bigger sponsors to finance this, or is it something you finance by yourself, or how do you do this?
That's also a great question. So I really searched for sponsorship a few years ago, but it's really hard to find sponsorship for these kind of solo attempts. It's easier to find sponsorship for group sports like football or basketball, because of course there are also more visitors, you sell tickets and so on, so it's a different kind of dimension. But in swimming, you don't have observers, you don't have visitors, so it's not so visible. That's why it's really hard to find sponsorship. That's a long-term fight. So I'm still searching for sponsorship, still are in some conversations with some institutions. But I know starting last year with the lockdown situation, pandemic situation, it will getting harder and harder to find some sponsorship. So in summary, I I earn money and I put all my energy, all my time, all my money to all these challenges.
And we received another question in the chat. As an athlete, how much influence did your university choice have? I guess maybe in general on your career and on your choices as being an athlete. That's how I would interpret this question. Was there a connection between your study program you've chosen and being a professional athlete or a semi-professional athlete?
Yes, so that's a good question. When I was young, so let's say when I was younger, before I studied, I also thought about studying sport psychology or sports. But then I thought, okay, I also like to analyze people, to observe people. And during my sport career, so during my trainings, when I pushed my own limit, when I challenged myself, of course, I always analyzed my psychological processes and also the behavior from others, and always ask myself, oh, why he's acting like that? Oh, why I'm feeling like that? And then read some books about sports psychology, about mental health, about physical health, performance, and so on. And all these topics, I was so excited that I said, okay, so sport will always be in my life, but I'm also so interested to the psychology. And that's why I decided to study psychology in order to control and understand better my mind and my body. And so at the end, I also thought about maybe studying sports psychology, but at the end, for me, I find the perspective much better to continue with business psychology and go to the business field. But yeah, so sport is still in my life. And now with also writing this book and having these kind of extreme situations, I still, or more and more, think about combine all these experiences on all my background, and also go to the out of comfort zone coaching, or doing also something like this where I can combine the psychology, the sport, and also this mind and body control system. So I think there's a huge potential. And now I feel all the puzzles coming together. And yeah, so that's my feeling right now.
Yeah, thanks a lot for also outlining this. Regarding the audience, is there any other question? If yes, feel free to put it in the chat. Otherwise, this was everything from my side. If there is no more question popping up. Seems like as if this is not the case. So yeah, then just apologies for the issues on Clubhouse. I hope that everyone was able to switch over to Twitch. Hope we can solve this issue for the next edition. So sorry for this. Was our kickoff session today. So apologies to the audience, but also to you, Denise, for this issue. But the feedback we received on Twitch, it seemed to work out fine. Any cool. Last words you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, thank you so much for this event again. And my last word would use this critical time, this critical challenging time, to transform your pain into success. So I think it's a chance for all of us to reflect about our priorities in life, about our desired future. So what you want to really achieve, what makes you happier, what makes you more fulfilled in your life. And just go for it, and don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to try new things, because at the end you will explore the better self of yourself. You will explore your own limit. You will explore your own potential. And so out of comfort zone, magic can happen.
Yeah. Great last words. So nothing to add from my side, because I couldn't have found better words than you just did. So thanks a lot for taking the time. Much success for your professional and also for your sports career. And hope to catch up soon again. And all the best. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Stay healthy. Stay good. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.